gonna see about doing a little updated video here. What I should do is I should turn on the Pivo and do this, but that's okay. We'll be fine. So, rein positions. Or line positions. How do you hold your lines when you're driving? And that kind of goes, depends, right? So here, this is kind of my personal classic, holding the lines actually with two hands. I usually go like this. So, personal classic of holding the lines in two hands. I've got the whip in my right. I have my right line actually running between my pointer finger and my middle finger. I've got my left line with the pinky loop, my lovely hair tie on my pinky, and my left line going over my pointer finger and under my thumb. So my thumb provides the grip, I've got extra grip with my fingers, and my right hand I've got this separation in between my pointer finger and the thumb. And part of the reason I do that is if I have it over here, I find that it kind of stresses out my hand a little bit more, and it's harder to feel the difference between my line and my whip. So I've grown to like having it in between my pointer finger and my middle finger so that I can differentiate what's going on with his mouth versus what's going on with my whip. So in this position, I can have a steady hold on either side. I've got a little bit more strength, a little bit more strength in my hands because I'm using them individually, but what I lose is finesse with my whip. So when I engage my whip, I have to be really careful to maintain that right hand. So if I come and do a right hand turn, and I want to bring his hip around, I got to be able to use my whip without losing my outside line. Same thing if I want to ease him out on the turn, I got to feel that right rein out and be able to engage that whip without dropping that outside line. So two hands is fine. There's nothing wrong with using two hands when you drive, but it does restrict what you can do with your whip, right? So your finesse with your whip is going to be less if you're using two hands. And again, this is kind of my go-to two-hand position if I'm driving with two. Now the other hand position two-handed is kind of the classic riding position here. So I sometimes call this the underhand position. The lines are going under and then to the horse. My slack is pushed out over the top of my hands. Thumb is your primary grip, and then you got your fingers that can modify on top of this. I refer to this as a power grip. If I've got a horse who's a little on the strong side, or I'm not 100% sure about them, or I feel like things are getting a little weird, I will swap to this grip because you've got two bends here, and that gives you a lot more hold on the lines, especially with these straight lines that don't have any stoppers or texture to them. This just gives you a little bit more surety in your grip than you would have without. So that said, I don't really drive like this anymore other than those small circumstances in which, okay, I think we need a little bit more of a handle on here, right? So typically if I'm going to be two-handed, it's going to be this position. And again, if I've got my lines on two hands and I know I'm going to drive the majority of my time this way, I've got my pinky loop, slack on my left hand, and I've got the whip in my right because, well, I'm right-hand dominant. So what about this one-handed driving thing? And I've really grown to love driving with one hand. And I found myself, even on some horses that I feel like I need the two-handed grip, I've been in situations where it's like, nope, need one hand. I need full use of my whip, and I just swap over. So if I know I'm going to spend the majority of my time one-handed, I have my whip and my slack in my right, and then my lines in the left. So this is more the classic grip. Coachman's, Achenbach, they're kind of related and similar to each other. I will note I have not been properly trained by a official, walk on buddy, professional coachman, so, and I didn't review myself before making this video. So anyways, but the grip is like this. You've got your left line over your pointer finger, and your right line goes between your ring finger and your middle finger. When you are in neutral, your hand should basically be vertical. And what I found works best for my students is that you think of aiming your pinky towards the direction you want to go. So if my pinky goes to the left, my horse is drifting to the left because I am engaging that left line. If I need a stronger turn to the left, I'll do what we call taking a loop. So my right hand, my helper hand here, it's not that my right hand's not allowed to touch the lines, it's that my left hand's the anchor and my right hand's the helper. So if I want a sharper turn left, I'm going to reach up with my right hand, form a loop, and I can take that. And what I can also do is if I need an even tighter turn, I can squeeze my bottom fingers to engage that right side. Let it go out. Let's try not to kill the cone there, Drago. Oh boy. So if I want to turn to the right, I'm going to aim my pinky to the right. Or if I need a stronger right hand turn, I'm going to take my loop and I'm going to put it in between those two fingers and bring them around. And then when I'm done with that turn, I let it pop back out. And you may find a need to adjust your lines as you go, because, you know, sometimes your horse stretches his neck, he shortens it, whatever, but this should become your neutral. Come on, buddy. There go, boy. So when we're turning left, we're going to aim our pinky to the left. If I need more, I'm going to just fold that loop underneath my left thumb, pop it back out. If I need to turn or at least flex to the right, I'm going to aim my pinky to the right. If I need more of a turn, I'm going to snatch a loop between that middle finger and pointer finger. Engage my whip as necessary. The great thing about this is that you got way more freedom with your whip. You don't have to worry about your right hand motion affecting what you're doing with your lines. Come on, dude. Oh boy. Now if I have a left hand turn here, if I need a little bit more of that right rein, I can squeeze the right fingers. Let the loop go. And if I'm doing a right hand turn, take my right hand loop here. And if I need to engage that left line, I can just do a little soft twist through my wrist to engage that left side. Oh boy. Attaboy. Now, other ways you could hold your lines in one hand. In the past, I've crisscrossed them like so. The problem with this, it might be easy to adjust because you just pull and pull, but this does a number on your wrist. It's fine for long lining, but it is not good for driving in a carriage. You're going to just torque out your wrist because, again, you're in this kind of, what is it called, pronated hand position, and my elbow's sticking out, and there's no, this is my neutral, so, you know, right rein I pull it a little bit towards me, left rein I go a little that way, I might shorten it up, but this is not conducive to longevity in your wrist. At least not when it comes to driving in the carriage. Long lining, it's fine. I long line a lot with my lines crisscross through my hand, and it makes the adjusting when I long line much easier, but in the vehicle, no. I used to do it before I learned better, and it just doesn't work for me. I will note that for me personally, I spent some time with just one finger in between the lines, and it was kind of an intermediary step for me, and it worked well enough, but this is the best way to go. All right, Drago, let's go back to the station, buddy.